These are the teachers' unions bargaining positions, included all kinds of policies that had absolutely nothing to do with the classroom. Why are they bargaining for health care policies and bargaining for defunding the police? But so many people make the mistake of thinking that if you spend money on the kids, on public education, that's helping kids somehow.
If you think about what parents want, if you think about what kids want, it doesn't seem they want this.
If they have such and such color skin, they're oppressors and are kind of need to atone for their guilt. Education establishment will tell you school choice is bad because that's profiteers trying to make money on the backs of your kids. Boy, the amount of money made by traditional public education is stunning.
Welcome back, everyone. Now, you might have seen when it comes to critical race theory, this new system they're pushing through schools, that the teachers' unions are the ones really trying to defend against the pushback. And now, we're going to talk about why this really is. What's behind these teachers' unions? How do they really operate? And here to talk with us about this is Bob Bowden. He made a film called The Cartel about this. He's also the founder of Choice Media. And Bob, real pleasure having you on Crossroads.
Thanks, Josh. Appreciate it.
So, your film is called The Cartel. You have the shirt on.
Yes. A subtle title for a film where you can't quite tell my point of view, right? If you call something The Cartel, it's so unclear as to where I'm coming from.
So I want to get into this kind of blockade they have, really defending critical race theory against the attacks, because if you think about what parents want, if you think about what kids want, it doesn't seem they want this. And so the teachers' unions are getting together to push back against it. How does that system work?
Well, the pushback will, I think, end up being the defining story of this battle. But, phase one is what we were told is that critical race theory was just in law schools. It had nothing to do with K-12. Anybody that said that critical race theory had anything to do with public schools was completely ignorant and was embarrassing themselves ultimately by saying so. That got eviscerated when the NEA, the National Education Association, not only the largest teachers union in the country, but the largest labor union in the country, NEA, came out in support of critical race theory. They used the term. And so you saw them on one side and yet a long series of passionate parents coming to microphones and lecterns at school board meetings all across the country denouncing this as being a way to judge people by the color of their skin, essentially, by saying don't look at someone as an individual. Say if they have such and such color skin, they're oppressors and are kind of need to atone for their guilt. Other colors of, we're talking little kids, by the way, other colors of skin, well, you're more likely to be victims. And people of all races came out strongly in opposition to this, and it really thumped the unions hard, I think.
Now, you've of course made your film called The Cartel, and that seems like a strong word against the teachers' unions. I know you got a lot of pushback on that. Why'd you call it The Cartel?
I'm here, actually, it's the 10th anniversary screening, and I'm in this T-shirt for The Cartel, so I feel like it's a little maybe over the top, so much self-promotion. But yeah, it was called The Cartel because it actually wasn't the term for me. I heard a colleague at the time who's since passed away, a man named Dan Gaby, who helped shape the film as kind of a consultant on it, refer to the cartel, meaning the entities that all group together to stifle competition, preserve and protect the status quo, and keep the money flowing where it is in public education. And this is, make no mistake, billions and billions of dollars. And the education establishment will tell you school choice is bad because that's profiteers trying to make money on the backs of your kids. Boy, the amount of money made by traditional public education is stunning around the country. Just the scale of corruption alone, that's actually the illegal part of the corruption as well as the legal part of the corruption, where you will have money wasted on employees that are low-show jobs or no-show jobs, where you have contractor hires who happen to be on friendly terms with the administrations and the superintendents, in other words, and the school boards and school districts. And so it goes on and on. Basically, and I should mention the establishment will criticize profiteers in the school choice world, ignoring the fact of the countless for-profit companies invested in the traditional public education system. All kinds of for-profit companies, everything from the companies that make the desks and the school uniforms and the buildings, to the law firms and the accounting firms hired by the school districts, to the textbook companies, to the school bus companies, even companies that provide substitute teachers. Some of them are for-profit all across the country. There's an enormous for-profit sector depending on public education.
And so what you uncovered through this was really a lot of corruption. Can you tell us, I mean, is it too far to call it corruption?
Oh, please, no. We have a whole section in the film just called Corruption. Yeah, no, where we just go story after story and we show examples. Now, this is my old 10-year-old film, but yeah, we show example of a superintendent getting a legal $700,000 severance payment in American public schools. We show janitors making six figures because partly they were turning in hours of overtime from the future. It hadn't even happened yet. They were, in some cases, writing 24 hours of overtime for them, as if they worked all hours of the day and just got paid for it all. From 30,000 feet, this is a sector where spending is defined as moral. So many people make the mistake of thinking that if you spend money on the kids, on public education, that's helping kids somehow. This is an example of a New Jersey School Construction Corporation, it was called. It was an $8 billion set aside to build schools in some of the lowest income areas of the state. And they identified 5% of the school districts essentially as being, where property taxes couldn't pay for facilities, and they were worried about schools kind of falling apart. $8 billion fund, $1 billion disappeared. We have a state senator coming on, explaining this problem and about how when money is spent in public education, just the mere act of spending the money is defined as a moral act. If you interview people on the street, which we did in the film, and they will just say, yes, spending money on the kids, that's good. We should do that. We should spend more on the kids. And then you ask them how much you think we're spending now per classroom, and they have no idea, in some cases, how much money is disappearing. So, yes, when you have a paradigm that is considered this moral thing, most people don't know what the numbers really are. It creates this space for people to waste lots of money on patronage jobs, on all kinds of projects that aren't needed. Their friends, oftentimes, there's a lot of nepotism that can be involved in this scenario. And it's all rooted in a monopoly system where there's no competition. And if you waste a lot of money, usually there's nobody there to criticize it. If you, on a spreadsheet, if you say I spent this many thousands of dollars fixing the leak in the roof, who's up there checking there was really a leak in the roof? And in public education, generally the answer is no one is up there checking. This becomes all over the country ways, and districts vary a lot. I need to point that out. Some are well run, but so many are poorly run because no one's really watching. And it's generally considered that the more you spend, the better a person you are.
Well, folks, 2 months on now, and we are still totally demonetized by YouTube. But given the situation where we have to censor ourselves if we want to really stay on this platform and make it work, we've decided on something else, which is this. We've launched a new platform called Epoch TV, epochtv.com. And through this, we're able to publish uncensored content. News that can criticize anything we'd like, news that can talk about anything we'd like, news that can give you real information from any part of the world about any topic without having to worry whether individuals will censor it. And in this current environment where information is being controlled, where narratives are being controlled, and where anyone who steps outside the boundaries of what is the accepted narrative by the fact checkers, quote unquote, by different big tech organizations, by media organizations, and so on. This is something that we believe is needed for the modern political environment, where people should be able to call things out. People should be able to question things. This is the basis of the Fourth Estate in America. The belief, again, that media should be able to hold government power in check, and that media should be able to inform the public about the issues they should be informed about, because that is the basis of our election system. An informed public making informed decisions. If you control this system of information, you control the political system. And folks, being a media organization, we can't stand for that. And so again, we have created an uncensored platform, Epoch TV. And anyone who wants to support Crossroads or support our broader mission of bringing real news, uncensored news, that's not afraid to stand up for what matters, please check out our website, epochtv.com, EPOCHTV.com. Check out the link below, and folks, please support us there.